Hi, we're back here at N101, and today's episode is going to be on fat burners. And of course, I have my good friend here, Alex,
Hi.
to explain to me all about fat burners. So, I assembled a bunch of questions, of course, from everything I get from Facebook, on my clients, and everyone else. And the main number one thing is, what are fat burners and how do they work?
Well, fat burners basically are products who help to burn calories, and they help to burn calories by increasing your metabolic rate.
Okay.
So they basically help the body to use fat calorie or just calorie in general to produce more energy or to burn the energy quicker.
Ah, okay. So let's say, for example, I'm a little tired, I'm a little lethargic, I'm, overweight, what have you, obese. Boom, take a fat burner and boom, instantly I start burning calories and losing weight.
That's right. You start instantly burning calorie and losing weight, but that doesn't mean that weight cannot be replaced. So if you lose weight but you're still eating the same way, nothing happens.
Ah, so you still have to have a good diet along with it. You just can't take a magical pill and go, hey, look at me, regardless, I ate 5 McDonald's hamburgers today and I'm still going to lose weight.
If I had that magical pill, I'd be a billionaire by now.
I'd go, I'm investing in that company. The man's got a magical pill.
I know.
We're going to use it. Now, what we did today is we assembled a bunch of fat burners because my question is always, one of those questions is, beginner, intermediate, advanced, where do you start out with a fat burner?
Well, obviously, when it's your first time doing a fat burner, you got to be aware that most of those fat burners are basically stimulant, caffeine, and stronger stuff. So, first of all, you got to ask yourself, can I take stimulant? Meaning, it's not just about, the shake, but also do you have cardiovascular disease or anything like that. So because in that case, then you have to go to another fat burner who has no caffeine or stimulant. If you're okay to take stimulant, then you got to start somewhere probably at the beginning, where some things got caffeine and green tea and maybe guarana, but nothing of those designer compounds who really increase the stimulant by tenfold.
Okay, so let's take, for example, we've got Pitbull! Lean Xtreme. I love the names on this stuff. It's always amazing. It's like, it's like I think, okay, I'm going to take this and go out and attack a family.
Well, you know what, this was a weird name like this, because this, if you look at it, this is made by Pro Fight, and Pro Fight was originally made for the UFC.
Okay.
So that's why they all have like kind of fighters, Pitbull,
Strong, mean, fast. Okay, that's good. I don't just want to be like this in the morning. You got don't take this and go drive. If you're somebody who's let's say prone to road rage, this probably wouldn't be for you.
But it could be.
Yeah, exactly. If you need to be even angrier. Now, there's a number of interesting ingredients here. You've got guarana, you've got your citrus auratanium.
That's basically it comes from the skin of a citrus, and it's basically a stimulant.
Okay.
Thermogenic.
Because I've heard of something like that, like bitter orange.
Well, bitter orange, you know what that is, right? It's like a sort of quick cousin to ephedrine. So it's called synephrine. So it's not like ephedrine, but it's the same family.
Okay.
It's synephrine, and so it is a thermogenic in some way. It's not as strong, but it is a stimulant.
Because for those of you who don't know, ephedrine has been banned. Although I've seen it sort of like creep and sneak around in certain ingredients. Like I saw something recently in the gym. There was an ephedrine tea.
Well, this is the law. There is some states where ephedrine itself as a refined compound, which is the alkaloid or ephedra, is illegal. But ephedra, which is a plant not refined into the alkaloid ephedrine, that's legal, because it'd be like chewing on a cocoa plant or coca plant, you will have to chew a lot of leaves in order to get high, for example, compared to the refined product, which is not legal. I mean, so it's kind of work the same way.
You can have cocaine, but you can't chew the leaves. All right. So
not in this country, but
somewhere else, leave the country, do what you want. Now we got this other one here, Thermonex, right? Now I know BSN is a really, really popular company. A lot of people swear by it. I've seen guys in UFC, of course, swear by it. Any number of athletes, pro and or amateur.
Yeah, we have very good products. Yeah, they usually are, a very good product. They quality product. They also, tend to reformulate every so often to always stay on the cutting edge. But in the fat burner category, believe it or not, they really only have what I would say beginners and maybe intermediate. they really have not really, you know, gone into the really strong fat burner. I'm not saying they won't, but so far most of the fat burners are really beginners or intermediate.
So somebody just starting out taking fat burners, this is the thing for them.
This is a thing for them, or somebody who just doesn't want something too strong because, you know, even for medical reason, or maybe because, you know, they already a nervous person, or they have nervous disease, and they just can't sleep.
Taking like MAO inhibitors. I've seen the number of things on the back of these, and I always remind people, please read the labels. Part of why people, I always say, get in trouble is when you don't read the label. You come running in the store going, I need a fat burner, I need something right now, hook me up.
And also ask your doctor if you got health issues or medical condition. Just go ask your doctor, because, you know, if you're taking a bunch of pills you don't know, maybe something could interact with it.
I remember I used to work at Crunch back in New York. We had an incident where a trainer recommended a whole bunch of fat burners to somebody.
Oh, I remember
Not
that.
realizing that this person had a medical condition, but also the medical condition was pre-existing. The person knew about it. However, still went and took, you know, all these fat burners and everything else, had an aneurysm, and that was that. So I'd like to avoid that as much as possible. So even when I make recommendations to anything with my clients, first thing I always say is, where, you know, what's your medical condition like currently? Have any kind of serious problems? Have you been checked out by your doctor? Have you seen your physician recently? All those things. I'm never one to just go, here, take this, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, like especially when you're in the fat burner category, because of the strong stimulant, you gotta worry about cardiovascular disease or thyroid disease.
Yeah.
And anybody who's gonna start like a diet type of pills should always check with their doctor, even if they think they're healthy, because they may have something they don't know.
Yeah. You could have heart murmur, any number of other issues. Now, as we move along, one of the things I always wonder, is there a difference between, let's say, taking fat burners for men versus women?
Not really. You know, I think most of the fat burners who are really kind of marketed towards women, only men, most of the times it's a marketing stuff. So in the mass market, you see a lot more women fat burners than you see in nutrition store, because in the mass market, they don't have anybody educated. So as a male or as a woman, you have to go to the shelf and say, oh, it's a guy on the picture, take that. Oh, it's a woman on the picture, take that. So because they don't have anybody to help you.
Yeah.
But really, there's no difference most of the time. In some cases, there might be one or two fat burners out there who have a couple compounds who might cater more to a woman, but that's like 1 in 10 billion.
Yeah. Okay, so ladies, there's really no big difference. The truth of the matter is, yeah, it's always marketing. I can put a sexy girl on, let's say, creatine and go, oh my God, this creatine is just for women.
Well,
so
and you know what, I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, a woman who are educated, when they come in the stores here, if I think we have one fat burner who has a woman picture on it, and they usually don't want it. Because they say, you know what, what's good for the guys is good for me. And that's what they do. They don't want any separation by any means.
Women's lipid fat burners. You're seeing it now. Now, we're going to move up to a little bit more like your intermediate stuff. Like, whenever I see this stuff, I think, wow, did a doctor approve this? It's like Spiradex, powerful thermogenic, and he gives it like this real cool little bottle that makes you think like, oh my God, I have this on my shelf when I go home, and I think, wow.
Well, you know, it's called packaging.
You know. well played, Gaspari.
But
well
it's childproof too.
Exactly. Don't let kids in this. Can you imagine some little kid running around like, man.
Well, first of all, if a little kid took this, then my first opinion would be we probably should shoot the mother because she's not watching the kid.
Parents, watch your kids, for God's sake.
You know what I'm saying? Because my mother never let me near anything like that. So if you kids get into that, it's like, where the hell are you keeping your drugs?
I was lucky if I got aspirin as a child. My mother was like, I'd come home and like, oh my God, it hurts something. My mother go, hack it out. You're going to be okay. So now, Spiradex, so now we're looking at something a lot more intermediate. So we have like a proprietary blend. And I know you discussed before things, when things say proprietary blend.
They don't want to tell you exactly how much of every compound they do, because as much as it might sound silly sometimes, the way you formulate, if you put maybe more, let's say guarana and a little bit of caffeine, and then let's say you synergistic compound is I don't know, 1,3-dimethylene, for example. But that compound needs to be, let's say, at 25 milligrams for making the whole formula really work, you know, to have some effect. Then you don't want to really say it, because somebody might want to copy the formula, but let's say they only put 10 milligrams into it because they want to be cheap. Then it won't be the same thing. So you may buy that one to refill, you might try this one and say they look alike, but you'll say, but I don't feel the same way. So eventually you come back to this one, and whoever is trying to copy the formula might know they don't know exactly why it's